Hello, everybody, and welcome to what will be the final IEEE-USA Washington update of the year. It's been quite a year, and you can already feel a little bit of the December air here in Washington, D.C., both weather-wise and congressional policy legislative-wise. Everyone's hunkering down and getting ready for the rest of the holiday season, doing holiday parties, looking forward to 2024. But in the meantime, there's a few things that need to get done on Capitol Hill, and a few things that we're still working on and watching as the year winds down. So let's jump right into it in terms of the state of play. Like everyone, like all of you, like myself, members of Congress, staffs took time off for the Thanksgiving break, and they came back to a pretty tense December and a to-do list that is still very much in doubt right now. I thought Punchbowl News's quote here yesterday about the way things tend to be in December was pretty spot on. This tends to be a pretty typical feeling. The specific legislative must-do items tend to change year by year. Some of them are actually the same, but there's always this sort of tension and feeling of angst to kind of try and do things, get them done quickly, go home for the holidays, celebrate the new year, and get started again. In terms of must-do items, in terms of what's on the plates of leaders in Congress, the White House, from a legislative perspective, there really are these four things. And you've probably seen at least one or two of them in the news quite a bit, because this is really the whole ball game right now in Washington, D.C. The president has requested additional funding from Congress for the various happenings in Ukraine, in Israel, and also with Taiwan. That money has to be authorized and appropriated by Congress. And right now, if there's one item on this list of four that I think might not get done, it's this one. There are a number of members of Congress, particularly in the Republican side, who are very wary of giving more money, additional money for some of these conflicts and some of the packages that the president is requesting, and are demanding in return some more robust U.S. border protection measures, which does have a little bit of bipartisan support. So if this gets done, I can see it being coupled with some increased funding and authorities, particularly on the southern border of the U.S., which has been a high priority policy issue for many members of Congress for some time. I will touch on a couple of these other ones as we go through. We've talked about this one before, and in fact, most of the slides I'm going to go through here today are not new. They still remain outstanding. The status and the state of play on them tends to shift a bit, and obviously they are in the final stages right now. But NDAA, the National Defense Authorizations Act, is always a priority for IEEE-USA and its members. And as I think folks know and may remember, it's about a $900 billion spending package. It really has to get done by the end of this year, or else many critical national security and DoD programs will not be able to function and operate. As you would imagine, IEEE-USA has prioritized a number of issues in the R&D space, in the academic engagement space as well. But if you've been reading the news, you may have seen some of these other unrelated, potentially, provisions or sticking items that are hanging up passage and agreement between the two chambers, between the parties. And right now, those are focused on some social policy provisions that the House Republicans included in their version of the bill. There's some China-related issues. Anything related to China generally tends to be pretty controversial and pretty hot button. And there's a kind of a new one that popped up where there's a provision really related to export controls, as I understand it, embedded in a security agreement, a trilateral security agreement, and it's specific to submarines. So these are the kind of very niche, very specific things that can hinder and hang up passage of an entire package like this. And the members of Congress that are digging in on these from various position points are working through this, are negotiating. The leadership in both chambers among both parties are involved. The White House is involved. I would be surprised if this does not get passed before the end of the year, but we'll see. This is one I don't know that we've really talked about or touched on much in the past, certainly in this forum, but it is an issue that IEEE-USA and its members have weighed in on in the past and do care about. Like most federal agencies and programs, the FAA needs to be reauthorized statutorily by Congress. In this case, it's every 5 years. The authorization technically was set to expire in October of this year, but as Congress is apt to do, they kicked that down a little bit and kept it going until the end of this year. And again, I think this is one that will get done as well. You see our areas of interest, which should be not surprising if you've worked any of this stuff before or kind of know where we like to insert our policy knowledge and make sure that our volunteers are participatory in the process. But like with NDAA, there are some hurdles to overcome. Right now, in terms of FAA reauth, there's a lot of wrangling over whether to add new slots for commercial airlines here at Reagan National Airport. Obviously, that is the airport favored by most members of Congress when they come in and out of Washington, so it's kind of personal to a lot of them. There's a provision on pilot retirement age, and then there's some discussion about pilot training time. And I believe this is a little bit more specific to whether pilots can use simulated training to count for in-flight hours. And there's a lot of opinions about that, and I think they still need to work to an agreement on that. This is one, again, I do think that they will get done. And then, you know, I've been always been doing this government shutdown watch, and you may recall that they punted on this again, oddly, and for the first time, I believe they bifurcated the appropriations and budget into two different timelines and two different buckets of funding. They put a bunch of the agencies and departments in one with a January 19th deadline, and the rest of them in another timeline with a February 2nd deadline. So I guess the good news is they don't have to deal with this before the end of this year, but it will obviously be front and center when they come back in January from the holiday break. And right now, this is not looking good. And I would not be surprised if the next time you see this, we've got another couple of stricken lines there, and they kick it down the road again with another continuing resolution to extend 2013 or 2023 budget authority yet again. This is going to be tough right now. The new Speaker of the House has drawn some very hard lines on top line spending levels, which obviously will tend to inform and flow the various agency funding line items as well. This is one that I think could get very dicey and could get challenging, but you know, we've been saying that since September. So once we turn over into 2024, this is going to be the hot button political and legislative topic that everyone's going to be working on. And then here at IEEE-USA, and certainly in the Government Relations Department, we are looking ahead to 2024. This is just a very small snapshot of the things that we are looking ahead to, planning on, you know, putting meat on the bones of. I hope many of you will be at the Young Professionals Rising Stars Conference in Las Vegas at the beginning of next month. IEEE-USA will be there. We will have a booth. We will be in force and very excited to participate again, as we always do. There are some new board members who were just elected to the IEEE-USA board in about a month ago at the board meeting here in Washington. So we look forward to onboarding them in terms of how we operate, and looking forward to their leadership, their guidance, their direction on where they would like to see IEEE-USA ahead in the new year. And then we will likely have a couple of new leaders from among the volunteers on our various government relations policy committees, of which We have, I think, 6 or 7 that are very important in helping to sort of guide the policies and advocacy positions that myself and the rest of the team here take up to Capitol Hill and to policymakers. As I think I've alluded to, we've got some vacancies here on the government relations team that I'm looking forward to filling. We are still at very early stages of that one. I want to be very deliberative about making sure that we find the right type of people and that we really put together the right job descriptions to bring in people to add a lot of value to what I think is going to be a really good year, and we're going to have a lot of needs here to fill. And in a second, I'll talk a little bit more about Congressional Visits Day. We have a date. We are looking forward to that. And then, of course, there's the elections. And once we turn over this calendar year into 2024, it's go time. I think it's kind of already been amping up, certainly among Republicans in the presidential primary field. I think they had another debate yesterday or earlier today. But Congress has re-elections, state level re-elections. This is going to be a really big one. And much of what Washington does, particularly as you get closer to November, will really be focused on how can that particular member, that particular party get the best outcome at the ballot in November. We will be keeping a very close eye on all of this. When you do advocacy, you tend to sort of think about the lens of re-election when you're approaching and advocating with members of Congress and congressional committees and leaders. You really sort of think about what do they want and need, and what do they want to hear as they're looking to re-election, and what can we put in front of them that is mutually agreeable in terms of priorities and in terms of policies. And I think it's going to be a very interesting year in that vein. So I mentioned it, I teed it up, but we can officially announce that we are going to be doing an in-person Congressional Visits Day. It will be the 10th and 11th of April here in Washington. We are still finalizing the website, and the registration will open shortly, probably right after the new year. Invites will go out in the email to all USA members, and we really, really hope to have a robust level of participation on this one. I'm very excited about this. I've already begun some internal planning and starting to put together the team here. We'll be doing a little bit more briefing of the board and of some of the volunteer leaders from among the members. But if you've never done this, it's a great opportunity to come to Washington for the first day on that 10th. We train you. We bring in an outside team, and then my team partners together to kind of explain what this is all about, explain what you will be doing, explain the issues that you will be advocating for, the technologies that you will be speaking about, who you are going to be talking to, how best to get that message across, where to go, how it all works. And then on the next day, we will send you to a bunch of offices on Capitol Hill to meet with lawmakers, meet with staff, and carry the message that IEEE is so accurately appropriate to do. We're in a very good space. We always have been. Members of Congress look forward to hearing from us, and I'm really excited about this opportunity. So mark your calendars and keep an eye out for additional information both on the web and in your inbox. The other exciting announcement, I had been talking for a while about the first IEEE-USA cruise that took place earlier this year. We have the green light and planning well underway for the next one, and we're going to Alaska. The website on this one is up, registration is up. You can go and find it and find the itinerary and get involved. And we're very excited about this one. We're going to be leaving out of Seattle and going up to Alaska from there in the mid-September timeframe. So please think about joining us. I think we're going to have a very, very full attendee list and a great agenda. So this is going to be outstanding. That is all I have for today for this final presentation and Washington update of the year. I am happy to open it up to any questions and provide any answers or guidance that I can. Not seeing any, which tells me I gave you everything you needed, or I've completely stumped you and confused you. In either case, you know where to find me. This is all my contact information. Please let me know if there's anything that you would like to see from government relations moving forward, if there are ways that this type of information can be better disseminated, if there are certain topics or areas of policy, agencies, et cetera, that we aren't quite covering that maybe you would like to hear a little bit more about. We are here to provide for you. So please let me know, let us know how we can make this better. But we look forward to 2024. We're going to be on again with this in January. I want to say it's the 11th, but I don't exactly remember. It'll be on your calendars. So have a great rest of 2023. Happy New Year into 2024, and we'll see you soon.
I've always been a very hands-on person, and I like the beauty of a machine that is well put together. I'm excited to work here because we are building a state-of-the-art particle accelerator in order to make medical radioisotopes more available for cancer treatments. I want to build something that matters, and this is something that matters. Being a member of IEEE, there's a whole community of people who are interested in what you're interested in. IEEE USA is my competitive edge.